The recipe for becoming a master. This is going to be really important for anyone who wants to develop serious skills in anything at all. This is basically the structure and the formula of how to develop a skill. Let's get right into this. So the formula that I have on the board right here is mastery equals attention plus energy plus time. Now let's break down what all that stuff is. So attention, this refers to your ability to focus and concentrate on the task at hand. When you give your full attention to a task, you are more likely to make progress and achieve your goals. Energy, this refers to your physical and mental energy levels. When you have sufficient energy, you are better able to stay focused, motivated, and productive. Time, this refers to the amount of time you dedicate to the task or goal. The more time you spend on a task, the more progress you are likely to make. Now, the combination of these three factors actually has to be balanced out in a way that works for you. I can't tell you exactly how to spend your energy, exactly how much time to dedicate, and exactly how concentrated on a task that you need to be. But what I do know is that regardless of the skill that you want to develop, you need these three things. Now, of course, it's very easy to get sidetracked. This video is going to point out a lot of the blocks to mastery as well. Now, there's a lot of very obvious blocks, maybe like distractions, for example, but I want to point out a lot of some of the emotional aspects of it and a lot of just basically the behavioral aspects of it as well. Now, I want to point out basically just some general steps to mastery. So there's the obvious choose a skill / field. Now, this video is not dedicated to helping you find the skill or field that you want to develop mastery in. This video is just about how to even be a master. Now, if you want videos for how to actually choose the skill, how to find it, I have other ones, but I'll go into a little bit of depth here. You have to take personality tests, you have to experiment, you have to try new things, you have to continuously explore and be curious and actually venture out into the unknown and just try a bunch of new things. Expose yourself to a lot of information, read various books, basically break out of your routine and go out and actually discover the thing that you like the most. And I want to just say that one more time. Go out and actually discover it. It's not going to just like hit you on the head. You need to actively do something about it. You need to expose yourself to the right kinds of information, like books, for example. Just read various books. Go outside, speak to people, go to events, listen to various kinds of music. Go on Wikipedia and type in like hobbies, like look at a lot of potential hobbies, things like this. So that's all very important. So you have to actually settle down on a skill or a field. And when you actually do that, you need to actually give that thing your attention, energy, plus time. So you need to be very selective with your focus. I cannot stress this point enough. When it comes to your attention, you need to actually watch where you're placing it. You have to watch how easily it gets distracted by technology, like your phone, social media, your email, TV, basically a lot of bullshit like this. This is one of your biggest blocks to mastering anything in your life. It's distraction. It's a lack of focus. This is one of the most common traps that everyone is falling into in the 21st century because we have so much immediate gratification, like even eating when we're not hungry, overeating, things like this. We have so much immediate gratification that in order to set aside time every day for a long-term goal, we actually have to sacrifice that immediate short-term pleasure so that in the long term, we actually have a deeper sense of fulfillment rather than just eating a cookie and having it taste good, but then still our problems are not solved. I really want to point out that distraction is most likely your biggest block, and you are very easily distracted. Everyone is. We have so much stuff around us that is manipulating how our psychology works. And it's designed to hook your attention. TV, of course, is one. Social media is another. I listed a bunch of examples already. The foods we eat are very carefully engineered to manipulate a lot of our taste receptors and the things that give us a sense of reward and pleasure. If I want to sum up most of the food industry, it's salt, sugar, fat, protein. Those four: salt, sugar, fat, protein. And it's very important to get clear about the things that are destroying our focus, our distractions, or really the things that even we're not doing that are just contributing to our lack of focus, like not getting the exercise that you need, not meditating, not actively cultivating focus, not setting up your environment in a way so that you can concentrate, like having your phone sitting next to you on the table when you're trying to, let's say, learn the piano. Get your phone out of there. You're just going to pick it up in 5 minutes when you're bored and just start scrolling on it for 10 minutes. And then, right there, you've already begin to drift away. Your attention, your energy, and your time is already being drained. And the reason why it's important to give something your attention in a very selective way is because when you are giving something your attention in a selective way over a period of time consistently, you begin to develop a deeper sense of connection to the thing that you're doing. You actually become more insightful. You start to notice a lot of details around the thing that you're doing. And overall, you actually feel like there's a sense of flow and rhythm to the actual task that you're engaging in. Whereas if you're multitasking, or if you're scattered, or if you're distracted, that sense of connection to the thing that you're doing breaks because your attention has diverted. So attention is actually what's creating that rhythm and connection, really, and just your energy input and the amount of time that you're putting into it. So moving on, learn the basics. This basically involves going to workshops, reading books, watching videos, attending seminars, and studying under experts. So yeah, taking courses, reading books, things like this are very important. And I want to point out that you actually have to do this stuff. You need to actively do it, like purchase a book off of Amazon. Let it come to your house or your mailbox. Read the book. Write down the best insights from the book. Think about it. Contemplate it. Actually integrate the information and actively execute on the information. You have to actually do this stuff. It's not like you can just watch the video, have the idea of how to master something in your head, and then click on to the next video. No, you have to actually do the thing. It's a very active process. There's not much else to it. Action is really the majority of what you should be doing. There's not too much. You don't have to sit idly kind of waiting around for the most part. Find the information online. We have the internet. If you're watching this video, you have the internet. There's a lot of information online that can help you with this kind of stuff. This video is one of them. This video is making you more aware of this kind of stuff. So purchase the books, actually get the resources that you need in order to master the thing that you want. Find a mentor, find a coach, find a teacher. This is all very important. The next one is consistent practice. This is about basically setting time aside every single day to cultivate the skills that you want. Now, it needs to be daily, okay? It needs to be basically every day. If you miss a day, that's fine, but you need to actually dedicate yourself to that thing every day. And the thing about this is that when you actually find something that you love and that you want to master and it feels very authentic to you, it doesn't feel like a chore, okay? It can feel like you have to put in effort, attention, and time, but it's like you want to do it, okay? And you have to find that actual thing where it doesn't feel like it's some pain in the ass kind of chore. Although at some points it can get a little bit grindy. Basically, almost everything, there's going to be maybe a few details you don't want to do. But for the most part, when you are trying to master something that you actually care about, it's not this pain in the ass. Because when you begin to think about it, the consequences of not mastering that thing will be an actual pain in the ass. the consequences of failing this mission at mastering some kind of skill that you love, whether it's better relationship skills, better piano skills, better communication skills, better listening skills, better, I don't know, anything, better focusing skills, literally anything at all, better empathy, better empathetic skills, whatever it actually is. The consequences of not developing a sense of proficiency within that domain, a sense of mastery within that domain, those consequences really scare you. So those consequences are the actual problem. Not like, oh, I have to set aside 30 minutes today to meditate so I can have a deeper sense of connection and mastery over myself. Or like, oh, I have to set aside an hour today to read this book. It's like, that is nothing. The actual problem is that you are not mastering the necessary things in order for you to live the best life that you possibly can. That is the actual problem, not, oh, I have to do this thing for an hour because Lucas on the internet said so. No. The problem is that you don't have the attention span or the vision to master that thing that is, I assume is very meaningful to you. So that's far more problematic than, an hour a day spending it mastering something, So you want to find something that's healthy as well. The thing that you want to master, I would highly recommend picking something that makes you feel very authentic, very aligned with your values, very, just overall feeling very connected to yourself and life. You don't want to really master stuff that makes you feel inauthentic and disconnected from who you are, really. You want to find something that increases your sense of curiosity and wonder and overall love for life. Because otherwise, it's just going to be draining you, it's going to be dull, it's not going to be too great. So learning the basics, I think I did consistent practice was the next one, seeking feedback. So this is all about actually going to people who are more experienced than you and getting information from them, basically getting them to constructively critique the things that you're doing. Now you want to make sure that you actually go to experienced people because you can get feedback from anyone. I get very interesting feedback sometimes in the comment section that has very little to do with really improving my videos. Like I'll be told to start doing shorts or this or that and whatever. But really, I know a lot of these people don't really know what they're talking about. I'm very aware that I can get a better camera, I can speak better, I can be more clear when I talk. I can always improve on literally everything about this video. But you want to find people who are very skilled at the thing that you are trying to learn and listen to those people. Because they will actually know, they will see where you are at in your development, because development occurs over time. It occurs typically in stages. There's usually patterns of development, and the masters can see those patterns. They can recognize these sort of patterns at work, see where you're at, see where you need to go, see where you came from, see what potential traps you're going to maybe fall into now or in the near future, and they can actually help you with that stuff. And maybe they can help you to learn some other necessary skills that will actually help you to develop a deeper sense of mastery over the main skill that you want to learn. So seeking feedback from experienced people. You don't want to go to just anyone, because anyone can give you feedback, but not everyone actually knows what they're actually talking about when they're giving you feedback. So that's very important. You want to make sure that the people you are talking to and getting feedback from are skilled and know what they're talking about, because people can give you feedback, but it actually throws you off. You don't get the right feedback. So I actually wrote this as a block right here, inadequate feedback. That is a massive one that you want to watch out for, because people will distract you or just put a bunch of doubts in your head or get you to put your attention on things that aren't actually deeply important. They will actually just distract you from the key things that you need to work on in order to get to that next level. So the next one is experiment. This involves trying new things, and it'll help you develop a unique style and approach. So basically, it depends on what you're doing. You just want to try new things within the field that you're doing. You want to be curious. You want to ask questions. You want to see what the traditional ways of doing things are within that field. And you want to pick the gold from the traditional ways of doing things. So you don't want to throw out what works. You don't want to throw out the baby with the bathwater. You want to figure out what are the best, what are some of the best aspects of the traditional way of doing things, and what are some potential ways that it can be improved. And you want to actually experiment with that, try and improve it, and do it in a way that is actually authentic to you. And that takes time. That takes a lot of time to actually do. It's not like this fluffy thing where it's like we're all just doing what's authentic to us and we're all happy and smiling and rainbows and sunshine and flowers and butterflies. This is actually a process that you need to intentionally do. You have to, I'm going to repeat that, intentionally do it. You need to have the vision, the clarity, the whole right habits around it. You need to organize yourself around it in a way that will actually work for you. Really, this is not an easy thing. This is not just going to be like a walk in the park, really. Discovering what is most authentic to you is very challenging, and actually it'll probably change in 10 years, that'll also change in 10 years, and it'll also change in 10 years. So it's an active and ongoing process and requires moment-to-moment attunement, moment-to-moment clarity and connection to yourself. So you want to value things like clarity, connection, self-contact, self-awareness, emotional intelligence. This kind of stuff is 100% necessary. You want to get on that immediately. You want to figure out what kind of foods you need, what kind of practices you need, whether you should be meditating, what kind of books to read, what kind of information to get in your mind so that you can actually begin to understand these things. Really experimenting and basically trying things that are authentic to you, experimenting in ways that are unique to you, and are basically uncovering a unique style to you. This is its own video. I actually have a video I'm going to make. What is authenticity? How to be radically authentic? Something along those lines. It's going to help you guys with that. But really, experimenting is something that needs to be done in a way that ideally values the traditional way of doing things, and it sees that there's a lot of truth in it, but can also see the problems of that status quo, the limits and the blocks of the traditional way of doing things, and begin to kind of move past it. Basically slowly improving the traditional way of doing things. I want to say that one more time. Slowly, that's a key word, slowly improving the traditional way of doing things. You can't really go into any kind of system or field and just radically change it willy-nilly. It doesn't really work like that. Change happens slowly over a period of time. Mastery happens slowly over a period of time. Moving on is networking. You basically want to connect with other people in your field and basically join online groups, participate in discussions, and this will help you to learn from others and stay up to date with basically the latest forms of development within your field. Stay up to date with the latest forms of information within your field. So actually speaking to people is very important. Getting valuable resources from people you trust is very important. You actually want to find people that you trust. Find intelligent people who know what they're talking about. And you want to be very discerning with the actual people that you network with, because it's easy to be deceived by people. People say stuff that comes right out of their ass all the time, and they say it with this sort of air of confidence, and it's very easy to buy into that. Really, you want to connect with people who are honest, open, transparent, intelligent, empathetic, things like this. And also, you want to do the research yourself. You don't want to just take what people say and just believe it. You want to be open to what people say, no matter what. You want to be open to what people are saying, but you yourself have to actually do the research so that you can develop a deep sense of understanding, so that you are not easily fooled by the errors of other people. So you want to watch out. I'm not saying that other people are like evil or bad, anything like this, but people will be deluded. People will have errors and they will say them and they'll really believe that they're true, and their confidence in their own delusion can really throw you off. It can really make it seem like they know what they're talking about when in actuality they really don't. They're just very good at appearing a certain way. So I'm not saying that people are bad or evil, that people are like intentionally out there to get you or anything like that. I'm just saying that people fall into traps and they don't even know that they fall into traps, and it's easy to kind of fall in with them if you're not aware of the various traps. So you want to do the research in your field. You want to actually get good intellectual understanding of what's going on. The next one is fail. So actually just make mistakes. Actually just start doing the thing that you want to master and make mistakes. Like, you want to make a mistake ASAP. You want to screw up immediately so that you can correct it. And you don't want to be very critical against yourself, like, oh, I'm such a failure, I'm such a screw up, all I do is make errors. Really, you want to just notice your mistakes and then begin to correct them. You want to actually be honest about your errors. Like, if I want to critique myself right now, I can get a way better camera. I could have done this video. I can speak way better than I've talked in this video. I've already noticed a few things that I've done wrong. I can make the information even clearer, even more concise, even more organized. I can get better lighting. I can get a way better background too. I can write better on this board so it looks clear. There's a lot of things that I can potentially critique, and the changes happen slowly over a period of time at a rate at which you are comfortable with. So you can't go into any system of any kind. You're a system, science is a system, the field you're trying to master is a system. You can't go into any particular system or organism of any kind and just radically change everything really fast and impose your will on it. That system will feel threatened by that change. It'll feel as though that is a threat, and it'll just start to defend itself. So you want to learn slowly. You want to make change slowly. You want to move slowly. The next one is don't stop. This involves continuously improving. So once you're a master, don't stop. It doesn't end at mastery. This is basically a way of living your life. This is not going to stop after 10,000 hours of work, 20,000 hours of work. Don't stop at being a master. Keep going. So this is basically a never-ending journey of learning and growth. Learning of the field that you're working in, studying yourself as well, things like this. It's basically a never-ending journey, and you want to treat it as such. You don't want to think that when I've put in 10,000 hours of work, now I'm the master and I can kind of just lie down. You don't really want to do that. Maybe you can even start teaching, and then through teaching you can develop an even deeper sense of mastery. You can get people to help you point, maybe like you can observe other people learning and realize that maybe there was even a better way that you could have possibly learned the thing that you mastered. So whatever. There's so many possibilities. It's up to you to discover them. I can't tell you everything. Moving on, we got to talk about the blocks to mastery. The first one is being unmotivated. I got to change my sheet. The first one is being unmotivated. This involves not sustaining the necessary effort in order to actually master the thing that you want to master. Now, motivation is complicated. I'm going to have a whole video on how to be more motivated, how to get out of a rut, things like this. But the thing I can tell you right now is watch the foods you eat, watch the amount of sleep that you get, watch your distractions. If you spend a lot of time on Instagram or things that give you immediate gratification, eating junk food, too much time on YouTube, scrolling video after video after video, this kind of stuff is going to make you feel mentally dull, kind of lethargic, lazy, and overall unmotivated. This stuff is going to drain a lot of your motivation chemicals in your brain. It's going to drain your dopamine. You're not really going to want to get up and do anything. If you're watching a lot of pornography, that'll also do it. If you're playing a lot of video games, that'll also do it. So you want to invest your time and energy into things that are actually beneficial to your well-being, because then motivation starts to happen naturally. Productivity happens naturally when you feel well, when you feel healthy, when you feel connected to yourself, when you feel authentic, and when you feel a sense of meaning. Productivity just starts happening automatically with overall well-being. It becomes effortless, actually. So the next one is a lack of focus. This involves basically not dedicating enough time and your overall attention to the thing you want to master. Basically letting distractions get in the way, letting other people get in the way, letting any sort of thing get in your way, letting overeating get in your way. Like, you know, in a lot of modern cultures, there's so much just eating when you're bored. That is a huge distraction, and it's really unhealthy, and it's making you feel kind of dull mentally. It's making you stupid, basically. It's making you feel very just mentally numb. You basically want to conquer that you don't want to do that kind of stuff anymore. Basically, you got to be very honest about your distractions. You want to be very honest that when you wake up, what do? Are you watching TV within the first 2 hours of waking up? Are you scrolling on Instagram? Are you checking your phone, your email, blah, 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 blah? You want to watch out for technology specifically, because that is probably one of your biggest distractions. There's so much free entertainment and just dopamine hits, quick hits of pleasure and instant gratification that technology gives us that we're addicted to. And this is the exact thing that is capturing a lot of our attention and our energy and our time, and we're not dedicating that to mastery. So it's things like TV, junk food, toxic relationships, and hanging out with the wrong people, things like this. These are all very big, and you have to actually get clear in your own life about what is distracting you. Moving on is limited resources. So this involves not getting the right coaches, the right mentors, the right teachers, the right books, the right courses, the right videos, the right training programs, basically the right equipment. All this kind of stuff is going to act as a barrier. At one point, I'm going to have to buy a better camera. That's going to be a huge barrier to developing a better YouTube channel. I'm going to have to even get better lighting, a better background. All this stuff has to change. I'm going to have to look at what other people do, look at what other people say, go through various videos, various sources, combine and contrast, figure out what works for me and what isn't, things like this, experiment with different backgrounds. Like, I'm going to have to change a lot of stuff. And really, you need the necessary knowledge. That's the biggest one. You need to read books and just absorb a lot of information. That is your most valuable resources, getting the sort of map that your mind needs in order to understand the terrain or the overall territory of the field that you want to master. So your mind, our minds in general, work like basically map making machines. We are constantly thinking about reality. We're mapping it out in our minds so that we can decide what to do in order to get the thing that we need in order to survive and be well. And if we do not have high quality maps, then we have poor actions, and we cannot get the things that we actually need to become a master in order to survive well, in order to feel healthy. So we want to actually develop high quality maps in our minds, high quality conceptual systems in our minds, so that we can actually go out and efficiently get the things that we need in order to improve. And we can only do that through reading, studying masters, taking courses, training programs, basically actively getting some kind of information so that we can get a better result. Moving on is the fear of failure. Like I said earlier, just fail. Just start and fail. That's the best place to start. Just start, make a mistake, and then just clean it up and keep doing that. Keep doing that. Basically, you want to actually take risks that are essential for mastery. You want to actually take risks. You don't want to play this one safe, okay? It's wise to play it safe sometimes, but you actually want to make a mistake and actually take a risk so that you can actually learn from that. That's what's more important. If you play it too safe, you're stuck in your comfort zone, you're doing the same old, you're doing a way too traditional method that is going to get you mediocre results, okay? Most of the traditional methods in life are going to give you mediocre results. You need to actively find some kind of system, routine, pattern, behavior, some whole way of life that is more geared towards you and what is healthiest with you and what is the most authentic for you. So Basically, the fear of failure can involve rejection as well. You basically, you might be scared that people will think you're a loser, blah, 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 blah. And really, this kind of stuff can prevent us from pursuing the goals that actually mean something to us. You want to actually just start. You want to fail. And, you know, if people are going to think you're a loser, that's fine. Go find some new friends. Go find some people who actually have brains. If people are going to think you're a loser for doing the thing that you like, you don't want to be around those people anyway, to be honest. You want to go hang out with people who actually have brains. That's kind of rude, but, you know, those people are toxic. Definitely don't spend a lot of time around them. So you actually do need to take risks in order to become a master. A lot of mastery involves moving into the unknown. It's not certain. You don't know what's going to happen 5 minutes from now. You don't know what's going to happen 5 years from now. You don't know what's going to happen 50 years from now. All this stuff is very uncertain and unknown. You don't know what I'm going to say in the next 3 seconds. You don't know what you're going to think in the next 10 seconds. So you definitely want to embrace the unknown and take risks because this is going to open you up to a whole new world of possibilities. And if you make a mistake, that's okay. You can clean it up. You want to make errors. You want to actually go out there and make mistakes. You are very fortunate to be able to go out there and make a mistake and actually clean it up. The next one is inadequate feedback. I talked about this. So getting feedback from experts and peers, trusted peers, is crucial for identifying the areas that you actually need to improve on. Without constructive feedback, progress can be stunted. So you want to get it from experts, people with skills, people with knowledge, people with a sense of mastery in that domain. And you want to actually get it from, of course, the actual right people. You don't want to get it from people who don't know what they're actually saying. You want to get the information from people who have already succeeded within that field. You don't want to get it from some random guy down the street, or sometimes even just on the internet. Like, a lot of people will come in, this happens to me quite often, people will come in, they'll start leaving comments about everything I'm doing wrong, how I should have all these doubts or something like that. And it's just kind of ridiculous, because it's obvious to me that they don't really know what they're talking about. They might have some good points. It's like, it's not like they're 100% wrong, but it's that overall it's not organized, it's not structured well. It might not be actually entirely true. And there's actually ways that, you know, I can improve or succeed that they are kind of just missing out on, and it's not very constructive. It's more so can be kind of attacking sometimes, things like this. So you want to actually get it from people with skills. You don't want to get it from people who don't really have much experience or knowledge in that field, because, like I said, you can get feedback from anyone. Anyone can give you feedback. You can walk up to anyone and they can give you feedback. That doesn't actually mean they know what they're saying. So you actually want to be open to what people are saying, but you don't want to let it just throw you off course or influence you, because people's feedback can throw you in the entirely wrong direction. Like I said, people will recommend things to you that are not authentic to you. They will try and push their ideas on you, even though they're not authentic to you. And if you really listen to them and take it seriously, it's just a distraction. It's a red herring. It's just going to throw you off what really matters to you. But you also want to be open to what people are saying, because even when a lot of people are very wrong, there can still be a few things that they say that might be right. So you want to think of truth and falsehood as a spectrum. It's like, it's 50% right, 50% false, 50%, 25% true, 75% false. You want to be open to the range of information that people are giving you, take the gold, and then leave the crap behind. And even a lot of the most incorrect criticism can actually have a little bit of truth in it, so you want to be open to it, but you don't want to take the whole thing seriously if what they're saying is telling you to move in some inauthentic direction, or is just kind of tearing you down, filling you with doubts and fears and anxieties. You want to watch out for people who are going to push these ideas and emotions on you. You definitely don't want to do that. You want to cut that kind of stuff out, because the opportunities nowadays are endless with the internet. You can really study the best masters of all time in basically any field with the internet, and you can get high quality books from any field with the internet. You can get the best coaches and the best mentors on the internet. Really, this is the kind of stuff you want to gravitate towards. You don't want to gravitate towards random people who don't quite understand the field that you're trying to get into. Like, if I want to be an artist, anyone can come and say your painting sucks or this or that or that, you know, but really, how many of them actually understand art? How many of them they have a knowledge of art or experience or anything like that? So you want to be very careful with who you take your feedback from, or who you get your feedback from, because, you know, it really matters. And we also have a lot of drives to fit in and people please and be accepted by other people. So poor feedback can sometimes be very stinging, and it can make us want to change in order to please people. So you want to watch out for people-pleasing tendencies within yourself in relation to feedback, because people can give you feedback and it kind of hurts, and you don't want to feel that hurt. So now you want to change in order to get acceptance from people. You want to watch out for that. You want to really get clear about what is authentic to you, what feels the best for you. And also, you want to care about what actually works as well. Because a lot of the stuff that can actually work and give you the results that you need within your field, odds are you don't really know them. You have to go out, explore information, and actually get them, and be willing to change yourself. Be willing to change your values and your beliefs and things like that. Don't be too rigid in, you know, your values, beliefs, and all that stuff. You want to be very open to new information and new ways of doing things. Moving on is complacency. This has a lot to do with feeling satisfied with your current skill level, which can prevent you from striving for basically excellence within the field that you're basically working in. And it'll prevent you from becoming a master. So you can develop some pretty good skills at, let's say, art and drawing. But, you know, when you develop some pretty good skills, that's not quite mastery. It's easy to get comfortable there, especially if you can begin to teach people what you're doing, maybe make some money, or, like, you know, start a career doing something you love and you have some skills in it. It's easy to basically just get comfortable with where you're at, to create a sense of safety and comfort zone with where you're at in your life. It's very easy to do that, and then just get stuck in that. So you want to watch out for basically staying too comfortable. You want to basically not throw yourself off and disorient yourself, but you want to be honest with, okay, like, you know, in what areas can I improve, or what more can I learn? Basically, you also want to look at things with a fresh perspective. So even if you've been doing something for 10 years, you want to be able to wipe your mind clean. You want to be able to throw away all the preconceived ideas you have, all the baggage, all the information, all of the everything that you've accumulated. You want to be able to try and wipe that clean and look at the thing that you're doing with fresh eyes, as though a newborn baby was looking at it. So then you can develop some sort of new insight, or develop some curiosity around the thing you're doing, so that it can push you in a completely new direction. Moving on is just impatience, and basically mastery takes time, and basically you're not going to get quick results. The video that I've made right now is designed for people who are wise enough to see that the kind of results I'm talking about will take a minimum of like 5 years to really begin to see, and for them to be like very solid and a part of who you are, for them to be really integrated into your sense of self. This kind of stuff is going to take a minimum of 5 years. Really, we're talking 10, 15, 20, and the rest of your life. So 5 years isn't even really it, but you know, you will see some results pretty fast. Let's say you've been starting a meditation practice. After a month, you're going to see some results, but it's not really, it's going to take a lot longer than a month to really get the juice out of meditation, to really get to the meat and potatoes of what meditation has to offer, to get to the core of it. That's going to take 5, 10 years. Same thing with weightlifting. Weightlifting is such a perfect example. If you want to develop mastery in weightlifting, you want to get some muscles, you'll notice some changes within a month, but really in 5 years, it's like, okay, this guy's been seriously lifting. And then 10 years, it's like, okay, this guy is basically a master weightlifter. He's been doing this for a decade. He's probably jacked. He probably knows a lot of various routines that get at muscles that I didn't even know I had, and how to do things in a certain way. He probably knows he probably mastered the form. You know, he's really worked his way up to that level. I want to point out that this happens in stages. It's development. It progresses over a period of time. That's very important to point out, that it's almost like a hierarchical development. You can picture it as like stage 1, 2, 3, things like that. And there's going to be a lot of overlap between any stage sort of model, but it's very important to recognize that development happens over a period of time, and there's a sort of progression to it. So that's basically it for this video. If you guys have any questions, leave them in the comment section below. And other than that, take it easy.